What is up YouTube, and welcome to this Cobra Kai Season 4 breakdown and ending explained. Somehow this show has gotten even better, with this season being a total blast, and Robbie's story, including Kenny, was absolutely heartbreaking to watch. And was it just me, or was you voting for Tori over Sam? We start off pretty much where we left off, with Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do combining forces to beat Cobra Kai, and whoever loses has to close their dojo. Of course, Johnny and Daniel's kind of conflicting styles and training methods absolutely fail to combine, and they only learn the lesson of balancing styles and working together at the end of the season, only as Sam reaches the women's final. Of course, the biggest thing going into this season was the return of Silva, who was of course in the Karate Kid 3 and tormented Daniel despite even teaching him for a bit. But we even had the psychotic Mike Barnes in that movie as well, who I expect to return next season. Now he is back to help Kreese, and I loved him saying that he was out of his mind on something that will get me demonetized if I say what it is, and the writers acknowledge that grown men getting involved with an under-18s karate tournament is absolutely total crazy, when we have him acknowledge that, well, he's grown since then. When Kreese finds him, it turns out that he changed his life after getting clean and ended up funding a mindfulness app. I guess at his heart he does actually want to help people change their life like he did after Vietnam, but I loved how Kreese interacting with these new people was really funny. In a flashback, we later learn how Terry couldn't run the day-to-day of Cobra Kai as his father wanted him to join the family business. They were upset at seeing their friends killed in the war, only to return home and be treated like absolute criminals. However, Kreese returning unlocks something within Terry, the male urge to literally cause conflict and be as toxic as possible, but it makes for a really awesome character. He then worked with Kreese as an assistant to the regional sensei before becoming co-sensei, and their conflict is mirrored with Johnny and Daniel going through this similar kind of thing. Arguably, the story is really about Robbie and Johnny, and Robbie as he returns to training shortly after a little brief hiatus. Man, what did Addison Rae do with him in He's All That? The lad is jacked AF. His story is essentially Daniel's in the Karate Kid 3. He's lost and thinks that using his anger at his dad and Miguel combined with Cobra Kai will help him find his way. However, we know he isn't fully off the deep end as he helps Kenny, who is being bullied by Anthony LaRusso, who is more trim this season. Anthony would have been friends with Kenny in another life, but Anthony is in a bad crowd, and while Robbie's story is Karate Kid 3, Kenny and Anthony's is a retelling of Daniel and Johnny in the first movie. And he's the brother of someone that Robbie was in jail with and comes to Cobra Kai for help, just like Daniel did, but leaves only for Robbie to train him, thinking he can make a difference. It's a very good subplot and would have made a good season on its own. And it's interesting to see the effects of Daniel fail to teach his son to be a decent kid while Robbie tries to do the right thing. Now, Johnny and Daniel have a lot of friction here, and they end up training in each other's styles, which was so cool to watch, and learning from each other, but they're just too much friction to put this almost 40-year beef to aside and set aside their egos. Each of them feel their ways the right way, something Sam and Robbie mention, and each of the stories at the core show that adults who can't put their egos aside absolutely fail these kids. And it's interesting to see Tori and Daniel's wife's story evolve from stay away from my daughter, you ruined my house, to Tori getting help for her mother. It was a really interesting story, and I was actually rooting for Tori as she's had such a hard life, and the All Valley is the only thing she has, whereas Sam has the pick of the guys, money, a caring family, and Tori doesn't have the luxury of doing things the right way. The weak point of the season was Miguel, who is sidelined majorly over time and realizes that Sam is kind of still into Robbie. As much as Johnny cares for him, he isn't his son. So it's a tough thing for Miguel to swallow here. And also weird was how Johnny is like, I want these kids to beat my kids so badly. It was really strange that he's just so eager for his own son to lose. The relationship is ignored really until the end in a touching moment, and also leads to Miguel having to find himself and his lineage. The effect Miguel getting close to Daniel is big, and even leads to some performance issues for Johnny as he tries to make a man chili. And Miguel learning about Christopher Cross is a big, leading to the schools splitting up and the ultimate end of both. The story of Kenny shows that Eaglefane and Miyagi-Do aren't the out-and-out good guys, as Kenny is bullied by them for simply being Cobra Kai, and I found it weird that Anthony just stopped doing karate instantly, as it would have been a good thing for him to maybe learn after he was suspended and enter the tournament, but the conflict between Kenny and Anthony will be big next season, as Kenny has gone to the dark side. That LaRusso connection was kind of not a major thing here, but Cobra Kai themselves fall victim to a prank, and Terry Silva turns up just like he did in Karate Kid 3 at the Miyagi compound and gets under Daniel's skin. Now, Cobra Kai are told to save the anger for when it's needed. Bottling it up isn't a good thing there, but they do retaliate by taking Hawk, and he has to find out who he really is. It's quite a good characterization here, and the characterization across all of these seasons is just, the writing is just next level here for a show which should not be as good as it is. With the school split, Johnny does actually need to find girls in one of the funniest scenes. I really missed Johnny being the caveman as Miguel tries to teach him to be more 2021, and Anthony is suspended, leading to get more confidence and go fully Cobra Kai, and he did at the end and threaten Anthony, which will no doubt to lead to a personal grudge match at the next All Valley. But it's tough there to see where it will go next because of, Cobra Kai 1. Now, I did not expect Stingray to turn up, but his suspension is up and he returns only to be mugged off and then beaten by Terry, who, unbeknownst to us at the time, struck a deal to get Kreese arrested. However, it all goes down after prom, and Robbie and Tori becoming an item to the surprise of no one, and while Sam listened to her friend about trying to make peace with enemies, she ignores all of that, and just like the whole season, antagonizes Tori, leading to a fight. Sam has had really no growth or characterization here. I think she's just stuck on autopilot. The sad side of Johnny being beaten and Miguel realizing that deep down Johnny misses his son and he's a replacement stung, and it's probably why he decided to forfeit, as he decides this wasn't about him. Now, the tournament episodes were pure gold as Eli finds himself and acts as a badass, but Eaglefane do badly despite having a badass female who I expect will be bringing the fight to them next season. I mean, it wasn't not going to be Tori and Sam in the final, was it? We got two badass fights in a row, with Eli and Robbie going the distance, eerily similar to the 1985 final, with Eli having found himself and winning, and Robbie still needs to find himself, which is why he failed. And, well, he failed to help Kenny, instead turning him into a monster, and Tori beats Sam in a thrilling final. Now, Tori accidentally elbowed her and steps out of bounds, but Terry had the refs on books, so Tori wins, but it looked relatively fair despite the ref being bent, but she would see Terry was paying him off, and Kreese would end up being arrested as Stingray said it was him who assaulted him. Terry knew Kreese's weaknesses there, which was Johnny and his change of heart, threatened the empire Terry wanted to build, having lured the best to his side and winning the All Valley. He says he can get others to help, which is more than likely Mike Barnes, his former pupil, who will be eager to take down Daniel LaRusso, while Daniel, at threat of Miyagi-Do ending, seeks out Chosen to assist in taking out Cobra Kai forever. It looks like we're on the end game, Johnny, as Miguel is off to find his father, who is a bad guy. I half expected it to be Terry Silva, but it's, well, a good time for him to leave as he's been cast in the DCEU as Blue Beetle. But Season 5 has been filmed, and Robbie has also returned to his dad, saying he could not help Kenny, but he wanted to try, but it didn't work, something his dad is all too familiar with. So Cobra Kai versus Daniel isn't over yet, as I expect Chosen will open a Sato dojo in the US, skirting the whole agreement. The question is, will Robbie stay with Cobra Kai or not, as it's about to get even more competitive. Now, I love this season. It really did feel like they've upped the stakes here. The comedy with the whole All Valley people was hilarious, and I love the fact that it is so ridiculously serious, but also over top, and also really, really self-aware. But superb season. Every season has got better, and that is really, really rare for a show. But that is it for this video. Please drop a like down below, do subscribe with notifications on, and I'll see you soon, and goodbye.